Hello, it's Annie and Jacob again.
Hello.
I am the kids buyer here at Labyrinth Books,
And I'm Jacob. I also work here, also in the kids section at Labyrinth.
and we are going to tell you about some of our favorite new books. Today we're going to talk about beginning readers and early chapter books. I have a deep and abiding love for Charlie and Mouse. If you do not know Charlie and Mouse, please check them out. They are delightful. If Frog and Toad were small boys and had a healthier relationship, they would be Charlie and Mouse. Oh, Frog and Toad.
Yeah, so great.
Yes. There is now Charlie and Mouse Outdoors. It is number 4. This is the one in which Charlie and Mouse and their parents go camping. They discover that marshmallows are better charred. I mean, that's a matter of opinion.
I'll side with them on that.
I do like them charred on the outside.
Yeah.
It starts out not on purpose, but it's a happy accident. I think we've all been there. It makes a great read aloud, but it's also totally appropriate for lots of kids at the end of 1st grade, definitely 2nd grade. This is Charlie and Mouse making up stories where the wiggling worm in the hawk's mouth turns into a dragon.
Ooh.
Yes, and there are also Charlie and Mouse invent cats who are even better than actual cats.
Yeah.
Look at the.
Oh, that's so good.
They're excellent. They're funny and warm and lovely, and well worth your while.
Yeah.
And there are 4 of them. And if you do not know the first one, it would be worth your while to pick it up. Look, Dr. Seuss, seal of quality, right there. It's if you don't know about the bedtime banana, you owe it to yourself. Charlie and Mouse. And then there is also Meat Monster. This is a really charming thing, and it's just been reissued by New York Review Books. It is by Ellen Blanche and Anne Cook. It first came out in the 60s or 70s. It's not new, but it has been out of print for a while. The illustrations are by Quentin Blake, so that is a lovely thing.
Yeah.
The authors worked at Bank Street Children's Book Center, and so they wrote the stories in collaboration with children whose voices you will very much hear in this. This sounds like a story that a kid would tell. It is a book that your 1st grader, and maybe even your kindergartner, depending on where you guys are, could probably read to you and feel really great about. They're very simple stories about Monster coming to the city and finding a place to live and finding friends. He's a quite delightful monster. He gets all packed up to go.
Yeah.
He's very friendly and lovely. He finds the little house that's too little for him. They're simple stories, very charming, definitely sound like a lot of them operate with 6-year-old logic. And there are 6 stories in here, so they'll keep you busy for more than half a second.
This is an ongoing series. I'm not even sure how many there are. Insert answer. But we're up to Swim, Mo, Swim. This is an ongoing series following the character of Mo. He,
Look, Dr. Seuss.
Again, Dr. Seuss, seal of approval. One of the first ones, Don't Throw to Mo, is particularly excellent. Mo essentially is a kid who tries very hard to be good at pretty much every sport. I think he's made most of the rounds now. They're very simple stories, very charming stories. Essentially, Mo starts off, he's not very good at said sport. By the end of the book, he at least manages to do one thing right, particularly in the Don't Throw It to Mo. He uses the ability of everyone thinking he's terrible at football because he is, to run way down the field and no one bothers to block him because why would you? And then of course by that he wins the game. His every story ends with his own inadequacies coming full circle.
I need those stories.
Yes, exactly.
I really do.
Exactly. So they're quite charming, and there's quite a few of them. So they're definitely worth a look for any beginning reader.
We should probably mention that when we go around glibly mentioning that Dr. Seuss is on the cover, for those of you who don't know what that means, this is an award that is given at the same time as the Caldecott and the Newbery, which you probably know, for the best early reader as determined by the American Library Association.
Yes.
So these are things definitely to look out for if you're looking for something for your voracious early reader. David A. Adler is also close to my heart because
Yeah.
I grew up on Cam Jansen.
Oh, that's right. You did Cam
You
Jansen.
did Cam Jansen.
That's
I
right.
love me some Cam Jansen. We have 2 Pat McLaughlin
We have
books
2
up here.
Pat McLaughlins. It was gonna happen.
Yeah, it's
It
inevitable.
was gonna happen. This is the second in the Barkus series. Very simple. We put Barkus as the family dog. I don't know how to put it. It's a little more. There's a little more words in there than your first chapter
Yeah.
books, but at the same time, each volume is kind of a series of events. If anything, it's more like 22 short stories of Springfield, if I can make that reference. Just
I love that reference.
I apologize, but yeah.
No, don't apologize. Go get some steamed hams.
Yeah. But yeah, so if anything, they are independent stories, but there's always a little fallback and callback to characters and things that exist within the town and the dogs they meet in a larger sense. I love the bright colors. I love the artwork doesn't apply just to the illustration. It has kind of a style throughout the layout of the book. You'll see little touches like a streamer here or there. I think really works with the medium of beginning readers. A little more advanced, a teeny bit as far as
Yeah.
levels go.
If we had to go in terms of level, you'd start with Mo,
Yeah.
and then Monster is close behind, and then Charlie and Mouse.
Barkus.
Barkus is more advanced than Charlie and
Yeah.
Mouse, and Wondrous Rex.
And
is-
Wondrous Rex, which we'll get to. Transition.
Here we go. Wondrous Rex. Wondrous Rex is also by Pat McLaughlin. Not on purpose, but she is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
For and most of the books that I've read by her do fall into this sort of early chapter book
Yeah, I
category.
think that's most of her wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, she's written a lot of beautiful picture books too. But Wondrous Rex is slightly sillier than most of the early chapter books that I've read by her, and I say that in the best way. It has a light touch. It's still very heartwarming,
Yeah.
which is sort of her trademark
Definitely
for early
is
chapter
her,
books.
yeah.
It is about a little girl whose aunt is a writer and is a little blocked. And this dog appears in their lives, who's brought by someone who says, Rex seems sad and he needs something and you need something, so here's Rex. She is advertised for an assistant, and Rex is what
Yeah.
comes. And Rex is a magical dog. And he gets her unstuck, and he will tell the right people that basically how to get themselves unstuck. So, magical writing dogs.
Yeah.
And of course, it turns out, not a surprise to anyone, that the little girl in the story is also a writer, as she discovers. It's very sweet without being too sweet, I feel.
It's a fine line.
It is a fine line. It's got a lovely sense of humor. It's got a magic dog. I just can't find anything wrong with that.
Fair.
It's pretty great. So, magic dogs and writing, especially since writing, I think, for kids who are starting out to read is something that we've been doing a lot of in our homeschool environment. And writing is really a challenge.
Absolutely.
For, when you're just figuring out reading, writing is tough and
Yeah.
can cause some anxiety. And this is really about the pleasures and the delights of making your own story, which is nice to sort of have reinforced when the mechanics of writing are hard.
Right. Yeah.
To be reminded that no, in fact, storytelling is why we're doing this.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.